Hey everybody, I'm Wild Man Wes,
And I'm your big bad wolf, Benny.
and welcome to a quick recap on Wild Wolf Show. So, we just watched on ESPN 30 for 30 on the greatest wrestler of all time, technically, in most people's eyes.
If not greatest, definitely top 5, guys. Let's be fair.
The limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, Ric Flair.
Woo!
Woo! So yeah, I mean, we just got done watching it, and
I loved it.
wow, I mean,
we knew most of the stuff. There's a couple things like Flair being adopted. Did not know that.
yeah, we didn't know that. I mean, granted, everybody, there are going to be some spoilers on here if you haven't seen it yet, but it is what it is.
But anyway,
the one thing I did not like about it is that it touched on ideas or things from Ric Flair's career, just a little short.
Yeah,
a little short.
One thing I did like though was the animated things they had about him, like where they're telling the story and they had a little animated video to go with it. I mean, it worked. It was funny. I loved it.
And for me, it's very reminiscent right now on the network for WWE of Storytime. Yeah. So if you have WWE Network, $9.99 a month, ladies and gentlemen, shameless plug. Watch WWE Storytime. They have a lot of animated classics or things about people telling their stories. Jake Roberts is one of my favorites on the matter, but you know.
Anyway, guys, we're just doing a recap of the episode. We will do an episode later on in the show where we do a whole thing, favorite Ric Flair moments, best matches, all that good stuff. So we're just going to do a quick recap.
Yeah.
On
what was your favorite little segment during the 30 for 30?
Probably they're talking to Hogan, and Hulk Hogan, who's always considered the greatest wrestler of all time, actually admits that Ric Flair was the better wrestler.
Dun dun dun! Holy crap!
It came from the mouth of Hogan, so you know it must be true. Yeah. Like, let's put it this way: Hogan is great. What he did for the sports entertainment business was amazing.
May not be the greatest technical wrestler of all time, but entertainer, yeah.
He knew how to do it.
You cannot deny the fact. I mean, come on, I'm wearing a Roddy Piper hoodie right now, and you know, Roddy's one of the greatest entertainers and, you know, mouthpieces of all time. But Hogan, yes, indeed. If it weren't for Hogan, WrestleMania 1, may not have been as great as it was.
Anyway, guys, we were talking about it earlier. We decided it was Bobby the Brain who said it, that a good wrestler only needs about 5 moves in his repertoire.
We may be wrong on this.
We may be wrong, but we couldn't remember who said it, but we think it's Bobby the Brain. A good wrestler needs 5 good moves in his repertoire, and then, you know, other of it is just, you know, pandering to the crowd, maybe throwing some punches and kicks.
And being able to use the mic.
Pretty much. So if you could do that, you're a good wrestler. And Ric Flair had a lot more than 5 moves in his repertoire.
Oh, God. Yeah.
As Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Sting both said, nobody could sell a move better than Ric Flair, and nobody can make you feel like he was in a lot of pain.
And speaking of that, after you talked about your favorite moment, my favorite moment would probably have to be how Ric Flair talked about his feud with Dusty Rhodes. The late, great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the common man, ladies and gentlemen. I love doing these voices, I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that Flair was allowed to do the second part of this 30 for 30, because if everybody remembers, we did have that scare where we thought maybe we might lose the great one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not talking about The Rock.
Yeah, I mean, because this was a couple months ago with Ric Flair having his health issue, and we were scared.
Everybody's scared. He's a wrestling legend.
I mean, and granted, you know, like almost a little over 2 years ago, we had just mentioned 2 of them. We lost. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and Roddy Piper.
My personal favorite wrestler of all time.
And both of them were great friends with Ric Flair. And when they both passed, he had made his, you know, comments known to the world about it. I mean, in podcasts.
Everything.
Every
which way.
Interviews,
sorry, not Roddy. Ric Flair let you know he missed his buddies.
And we all do as the whole wrestling universe, not just wrestlers alone or promoters, the fans. We all miss everybody that goes. Heroes. It doesn't matter.
You grew up on those people. They're superheroes to you. They got, you know, they do these amazing feats.
He was my hero. Just saying.
It's amazing. Another thing that I really liked, as corny as it sounds, is those emotional moments. Just him talking about Reed.
Yeah, about the death of
Like,
his
you
son.
feel for him. You feel for it,
I
yeah.
mean, when we
Here's this
first heard
guy.
about it, it was, I mean, and not just that, but they also used the 911 call,
Mm-hmm.
and just hearing the sound in
Here's
his
the
voice,
thing.
it just
Ric Flair is one of those guys that you just picture. He's a man's man. He doesn't cry. He doesn't do things that a lesser man would do. And here he is in this episode, just
you see him at his most
breaks
vulnerable.
down. And you know what? That makes him that much of a stronger man that he
And
can do that in
when
front
you
of
hear
people.
your heroes being vulnerable, we become vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And for Rick, you know what? It still hits us to this day. You know what? I mean, and you know, like I say, condolences. Even 4 years past, you know.
Hey guys, it's never hard to lose a family member.
No,
so
it's never easy.
Nature Boy, you got our support, of course.
Amen.
You know, it was just a cool episode. It's a little quick breakdown of his whole career.
Yeah.
It really didn't touch on too much for too long.
No, I mean, well, because there have been a lot of documentaries through WWE.
Yes.
But this one, I think, really tapped on the real Ric Flair. People wanted to know exactly who he really was, and you know what? I think deep down, and especially after the health scare, you really get to see him as a person, as human. You know, and I like that. And you know what? I mean, I've always been a fan of Nature Boy, and I'm sure.
I dare say, we were actually talking before this episode about who we'd put on our Mount Everest of wrestlers.
Oh, you mean Mount Rushmore?
Whatever.
America.
Rabble. Just who would go on the mountain, the face-wise, and it's very hard to determine who would go on there. We talked about how we'd have to do generations, but I dare say Ric Flair would be on the greatest of all time up there.
I agree on that one.
Like I said, it's just very hard to do because we were trying to do our list and we kept thinking of names. Lou Thesz was thrown around.
Yeah, Nick Bockwinkel.
The original Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, and I even dare say like Superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah, I mean because
there's so many.
Well, with Superstar Billy Graham, for people like Jesse Ventura and Hulk Hogan that have admitted that they inspired him. If not ripped off, but with the Mount Rushmore thing, we are going to get in this in full detail in later episodes.
Those are future episodes.
But we think that we should do it in eras. The black and white era.
It's too hard.
The 60s eras, the 70s, the 80s, the Attitude Era. So if any of you have an idea of what you think should be on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling,
leave it below.
Whether it's a conglomerate of all the eras or in every decade, leave a comment in the section below, and we'll try to, we'll figure out what to do
together,
on that. Yeah.
If anything, guys, the more people we get to respond to this, we can actually make it our job easier.
Yeah.
Gauge your comments to what we think. But guys, we want to keep this nice and short.
We want you to help us to help you.
Pretty much.
Basically.
We want to keep this nice and short because this is just a brief recap. I think we touched on a little bit of everything. Like I said, we're going to do a full episode on Ric Flair, just his best moments, his worst moments.
Kind of like our top 10 moments.
Pretty much.
Kind of like we do with Perry Saturn. It's been a while. I know,
guys.
But we're going to get back into that big time.
Only other thing I can say is our third partner now, if you guys haven't heard, DC could not be here tonight. He's got work. We are all adults trying to make it through this crazy world.
Yep.
And he has to adult.
You either get busy living or you get busy dying.
Again, otherwise he'd be somewhere... he's about right here.
Well, this couch doesn't tip in, so he'd be more up here now.
Yes, he'd be somewhere around my height. So yes, DC will be on us with our next episode. DC, sorry, buddy, you couldn't make it. This was a great episode. A little recap, but anyway, guys,
it is what it is, and we can't wait for you to be on our next one.
There's not much more we can say, because like I said, go watch it. It's on ESPN. You can watch it over and over again.
And chances are on Netflix it will be on within the next month. I'm sure of it.
Probably. But anyway, guys, we want to close this episode out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all you guys who have just been starting to subscribe, and we've been doing these brief little recaps. It's awesome. We love it. We're trying to get out there. We're really busting our humps.
And most importantly, thank you, Ric Flair, for everything that you have done for the industry and for the fans.
I was going to say, would wrestling be the same if Ric Flair was never there?
Hell no. Hell no.
We might not have a big WWE conglomerate right now going on. So, Thank you, Nature Boy.
We wouldn't have a Nature Boy that we would have known in our generation.
Now we've had to look back to Buddy Rogers, and
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that either.
No, it's not. It's just that we would have to find a lot of broken reels.
That's the only bad thing about that time is the technology. We can't see all those glorious matches that we have.
Now we got all this to help us out.
Technology.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, we're gonna close this episode out. I am your big bad wolf, Benny Lupo,
and I am your wild man, Wes.
We'll see you next time at the movies.
Take care.